Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Reese and today I'll be taking you through the good, the bad and the ugly of Robocop Rogue City. I'm a massive fan of Robocop, but I'm not assuming you guys are either. So at the end I'll be telling you whether or not I think if it's worth the money and how much it actually costs now. So without further ado, let's talk about the good of Robocop Rogue City. First things first, Robocop looks absolutely fantastic. This is the best he's ever looked in a video game. I did like how he looked in Robocop vs Terminator all the way back in the Mega Drive, and I also thought he looked good in Mortal Kombat. Fortnite, it looked a little bit off, but everyone in Fortnite looks like a Fortnite character, so I can let Robocop slide on that one. But in his own video game, Rogue City, he has never looked better. It's quite heartwarming, actually, after all these years, to see one of my favourite characters actually come to life and be given, you know, a little bit of paint that he actually deserves. So it just looks great. He looks fan-frickin-tastic. Everyone was left with a bad taste in their mouths with the sequels of the Robocop films. The second one was passable but not great, and the third one was diabolical. I personally thought, as a kid, it was fun. Looking back on it now, it doesn't feel like Robocop. It felt like a watered-down kid version of Robocop, which is fine for the kids. I was a kid at that age, I loved it, but this does feel like it's the actual third story in the original Robocop timeline, which feels really weird to say because it was that long ago. Is anyone left really from the original film wanting to play a third chapter of a story that's been told years and years ago? I don't really know, but I think it's a good thing. Like I said, I'm a massive fan of Robocop, so it was great to see Peter Weller back in that role of Robocop, voicing Robocop and bringing him to life one more time, because I'm not quite sure how many times he's going to turn up again, if I'm being honest. So realistically, for me, this is 100% the third film. I honestly believe that. I'm going to put it out there. It sounds crazy, but it's definitely, to me, now the third film, okay? But it's a video game. There's full sections where Robocop goes through therapy. For me, it felt like, as a player, it allowed you to control what you thought your version of Robocop would have felt from how OCP was treating him. These therapy sessions really dive deep into the character of Robocop. I know the film is about brutal gore, satire and all that other stuff, but underneath it all, it is about a cop who was killed and who now misses his family. And these therapy sessions really dive into that, and I think it's fantastic how they've put this into a game. It's one of the parts of Robocop where the first two films kind of deny, but this one feels like it embraces, and I think that's for change, and I think it's a good change as well. So overall, the therapy sessions in this are fantastic, especially if you want to have your little sprinkle on Robocop. The action's really well made as well. The people who have designed this game definitely have thought what villains to put in, knowing that Robocop's not the fastest of... Is it superhero? Yeah, superhero. You get people on bikes, you get heavies, you get the Ed 209. Everything's in here that is classically known as Robocop. Even Robocop 2 turns up, which is brilliant. So yeah, the action is fantastic and it just feels really good. Well made, to be honest, overall. The legendary Auto 9 is brilliant and it feels exactly how you imagined Robocop's gun to act. That sounds weird. It sounds like his dick. The Auto 9, like I said, is fantastic. The only problem I have with the Auto 9 is that it has infinite bullets. You don't need to reload it once you've got some perks. But it kind of like negates the rest of the game. Like, you don't really need any other games. There's parts where you need a sniper. But yeah, the Auto 9 runs this game, and it is brilliant. With it being the third story to the original Robocop timeline, like I said earlier, we do have some great returning characters. Lewis is back as his sidekick. You know, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but she does go down at some point, like she went down in the third film. That's all I'm going to say about it, but some good returning characters, and also some decent new faces as well. There's a guy in it called Pickles who's quite good, rough around the edges, but overall a decent character to find in the Robocop franchise. Speaking of Pickles, there are some fun Easter eggs in this, and if you do get to do the mission with Pickles where he goes into a DVD store or a video store in the game, definitely play it. There are some brilliant Easter eggs in there, and there's brilliant Easter eggs actually put out this whole game. Robocop says all his shtick, he does all his stuff, you know, classic lines, but they add in a little bit more. They add in some familiar faces, some new ones, so the Easter eggs in this are brilliant. One thing I will say is that this type of story does feel similar to Robocop. Like, it's not trying to reinvent the wheel, it is just kind of treading old ground, but it's unique enough to fit into the franchise and feel fresh. Feels familiar but fresh. That's what I would say about this. Don't be expecting anything crazy, but also if you are a fan of Robocop, expect to kind of, like, it's not shocking. It doesn't do anything mental. So overall, I think the creators have really understood the source material, and the comedy and the satire is well written. Everything to this game, to me, feels like it's been made by a super fan of Robocop. From everything from the therapy to his gun, literally to the way his walk sounds, and to the way he moves as well. The only thing I would say that was a bit crazy was like how he jumps out of buildings. I'm not sure we really saw that, but in terms of a video game, it gets you out of areas. That was the only small tweak I saw. But apart from that, the creators of this really understood the source material, and to be honest, they smashed it out of the park. Right, now we've gone through all the good, let's go through some bad things. I know a few points really for the bad things, but Robocop looks great in this, like I said, but everyone else looks a little bit terrible. And to the point where some characters, the mouths don't work with the voiceovers, and they're just shit. Like, the voiceovers in this game, outside of Robocop and a few of the main characters, are dog shit. Like, it feels like there's been no effort put into them. Or they've just pulled off voice actors off the street. It feels really weird, to be honest. Yeah, so Robocop looks great. Everyone else looks a little bit terrible and sounds even worse, if I'm being honest. So the core gameplay of Robocop Rogue City is absolutely great, but that's all the shooting and the action stuff. The side missions, though, holy diver. They're necessary. You need to do them because you need to get the experience points, but wow, they are crap. You're saving cats. You're putting tickets on people's cars. You're walking around Detroit doing absolutely nothing for these side missions. They're just shocked. Some of them bored the daylights out of me. I was getting C's on some of the feedback sheets because of how bad these side missions were getting. And it's in the middle where it starts to get really boring. But the main gameplay, like I said, it does pull you through. To be fair, I've just mentioned the middle of the game, and it's just that it feels repetitive. So you go to the middle bit and you're like, oh god, how long is this? 10 hours of Robocop now seems quite a lot. And then it seems to rush the ending. Like, it's not a bad thing because the ending comes together quite well and it's a decent story. But for the middle bit to feel slow and the ending to feel fast, like, could the law of averages not just said we could have made it all feel smooth and flowy? Flowy, is that flowy? Flows? Make it flow is what I'm trying to say. The middle of the game is slow, the end of it is fast. Not great, that bit, but yeah. So there's not really many bad points to go, but there is one outstanding ugly. The whole game seems unpolished, and it feels like it needed a bigger budget for Robocop to finally come to life in terms of, you know, his big video game. It is big for Robocop, but it doesn't feel like it's a big game. That is the sad reality of this. Like I said at the beginning, he does look better, but everyone around him just feels hollow and fake. And I'm not quite sure how you can build a world around this. I know the DLCs just come out, but this one, in terms of the base game, feels tired. Like a little bit like they've done enough on the budget that they had. And I know it's not a AAA title. I'm not saying it is, or it should be, you know, millions and millions and millions. But overall, you do expect a certain standard from video games. And I've just finished playing Resident Evil 4, and this feels like it's a painful step down. So quite a big ugly with this one, really. So now the final verdict for Robocop Rogue City. I've had a look on CD Keys. Currently it's £4 for the base game. Is it worth it? Oh, hell yeah. Should you buy it? Oh, hell yeah. Everything I've said, I know the bad points and the ugly are quite big, but for £4, it's an absolute steal. Now, if you brought this brand new, we would be having a different conversation. But I think now, as time goes on, it's 100% go get it. If you're a fan of Robocop, even if you don't like it, just play it, because the third film was crap anyway. So you've got nothing to lose. If you're brand new to the franchise, you might not get you might not get the references as much, but you'll still get enjoyment out of it. Even if you don't do the missions in the middle, the boring ones, you just do the main game. At least you understand who Robocop is. Or even if you just go back to it to feel a little bit of that 80s nostalgia, it's worth £4 by a mile. If you have played Robocop Rogue City, please drop a comment down below. If you're thinking about buying it, let me know if this has tipped you over the edge to buy Robocop Rogue City. That's all we've got time for, though. Rogue City, I enjoyed my time with it. It was fantastic. I will be getting the DLC, Unfinished Business. If you are interested, please like and subscribe, or there will be trouble. What impression. Trouble. I've practiced years to do that on the internet. Fucking years. Thank you so much for watching. I have been Reese. You guys have been fantastic, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.